It was my intention to make regular and detailed reports of the events happening in this latest campaign, but that has not occurred. Instead, here's a random and sketchy overview. The theocratic socialist states Mauxica have declared war on the Crimsonian loyalists, in direct contradiction of their declaration of universal peace 2 months earlier. Manarth has called for a conference of all the major naval powers to discuss potential limitations to future shipbuilding, fearing an escalating arms race. In Dunbarra, Admiral Klapkatsa has called for the assembly of the Council of the Elders, which has not happened in many years, to discuss some of the challenges of the nation. The clans are electing their representatives. There is trouble in Dunbarra as well. There have been localised tax revolts in Dunwood, Whitehall and Ilpstein under the slogan, "Not one crumb of cheese to the usurper." In Mauxica, the Free State armies have advanced into Asadero, but have not captured the city due to the weather. And the Bandito forces have marched into Asadero in support of the Free State. In Dunbarra, security forces have arrested some of the mad/wild mice in the region of Vinbar, but in doing so have angered the local population. Support for the mad and wild mice appears to have increased. In Mauxica, the Free State armies have been slowed by bad weather. They have reached Asadero and put the city under siege. In Badain, expeditionary fleets have been set out to explore the Atlantic Ocean and points beyond. The Bandito army has arrived at Asadero to meet up with the Free State forces. In Dunbarra, the Council of Elders is preparing to assemble. The provinces have elected their representatives. Early reports are that the cities have all backed candidates supportive of Admiral Klapkatsa, as has Vindic. The other provinces have all returned candidates who call themselves the Whites. Their spokesmouse is one brother Notley. Klapkatsa is believed to have 10 delegates, Notley has 11. The party of Notley, the Whites, have announced their refusal to take part in the council unless there are also representatives from Mauswelt and West Thuiba to guarantee that things are done fairly. Letters to this effect have been delivered to the specified governments. There is trouble in Dunbarra. A ham-fisted speech by a prominent government official has convinced 2 delegates supporting Klapkatsa to join the opposition. The Council of Elders is now at 8 supporting Klapkatsa and 13 opposed. And there are revolts in 4 provinces that reduce tax income. Tuvik, Dunwood, Whitehall and Ilpstein are all in open revolt. And Dunbarra reports a naval battle occurred last month in the Central Sea with Boliftribia. A Dunbarran squadron has been destroyed. Reports in Trentus are that a fleet of exploration has found the coast of Panchala. Trouble in Dunbarra. Reports are spreading that a number of local mice have been abducted by ferals in the Central Highlands. And also in Dunbarra, Admiral Klapkatsa has led troops in Ilpstein province to suppress the recent cheese tax rebellion. There have been some limited scuffles, and support for the regime has increased. The rebellion in Ilpstein has ended. In West Thuiba, a force has boarded ships in Bermage and sailed towards Dunbarra, landing in Bezkim. In Mauxica, the Free State are laying siege to Asadero. Delayed by the weather, after 2 weeks the fort guarding Asadero for the Loyalists is close to falling. In Boliftribia, the Grand Fleet of the East has arrived in Vrezhny. In Mauxica, Black Cheddar's army has reached Chedaria in Asadero province and is approaching the city. Black Cheddar has advanced into Asadero, relieving the siege as the Free State forces withdraw. The siege of Asadero has been lifted, and the Free State and Bandito armies have fallen back across the river to find good ground for a battle. There is trouble in Dunbarra. All of southern Dunbarra is in open revolt against the Klapkatsa regime. Eend, Vindic, Sudden, Dunshire, Lakeston, Whitehall, Ilpstein, and also in Dunbarra, forces from Tiplif Nazin have marched into the Dunwood in search of troublesome ferals. In what can only be described as very unlikely, all of Mauswelt has been absolutely dumped in snow in the closing weeks of autumn. 4 solid weeks of snow across the entire planet, including warm continents like Mauxica. In Dunbarra, agents have led West Thuiban and Tiplef Nazin troops to the Bat Caves in the mountains north of the Dunwood. Violence is only prevented by the snow. Anti-Klapkatsa rallies in Dunilp and Schoolyet have resulted in street violence. Support for the Admiral has increased. Rumours are spreading in Manarth that an expedition has found a new land in the Atlantic Ocean. In Mauxica, a loyalist attempt to delay the march of the Free State forces has proved impossible due to the weather. but Free State forces are unable to move because of the weather. And Bandito forces capitulate. Military forces in Confluence province, spurred by confusion and argument in the capital, impossible diplomatic talks, and overall frustration has led to a coup. Andre Reggiano has been removed as leader. Josip Strahinja has taken his place. A rapid peace treaty has been signed with the Crimsonian loyalists. The Bandidos have agreed to a military occupation to ensure the peace. There's trouble in Dunbarra. A well-funded group of rebels has been caught attempting to destroy a major way rail section and subterranean chasm in the city of Bezkim. The rebels were betrayed by a double agent. There are reports of gunfire in the city. At least 17 mice have been killed, including civilians. The regime blames Notley. Maustria has begun to mobilise. Garrisons from 7 cities across the kingdom have been recalled to active service, and Northern Army is assembling at Westerbotten. In Mauxica, the Free State armies of the north and the south have crossed the river and are laying siege to Asadero, as Black Cheddar's army has left the province and captured La Mouse, and then crossed into Norwich province. The fort guarding Asadero has fallen to siege. The capital is in the hands of the Free State. In Dunbarra, support for Klapkatza has increased in Whitehall, with a senior government official personally visiting the island to oversee the redistribution of manorial property to the working farmers. Conservative peasants have rallied to the regime. In Maustria, the mobilisation continues, with troops from 6 cities moving to join the Northern Army. Rumours are spreading that the Duke Regent is in personal command. In Tiplef-Nazin, plans are being put into place to include Mouseball alongside the traditional Mouse Limbic games. In Mauxica, the Free State has built a fort to hold Asadero. In Boleftribia, the Sublime Emperor has reportedly dispatched an expedition to the far south to establish border fortifications. In Dunbarra, government agents have decreased the support for the wild mice of Dunbarra. Support for the Klapkatza regime has increased. In Ublico, the army under the command of the Duc de Laurier has crossed the border into Dunbarra and is approaching the city of Skuliet. There is trouble in Dunbarra, as anti-regime protests in Dunilp have been put down by troops. Support for the regime has increased. A number of local academics and religious leaders have been killed. In Mauxica, the Free State armies have retreated in front of Black Cheddar and taken their positions behind the river across from Asadero. A brigade of cavalry was lost in holding off the Loyalists as the army retreated. The Loyalists have Asadero under siege. The campaign continues.